And Screwtape, in a sense, had his way in a different direction, you see. He had heard in sermons, Matthew passage, if a man looks at a woman to lust after her, it's as if he committed adultery with her. And that passage had been interpreted to him in a sermon that if a man looks on a woman and just notices her, that he's committed this sin. So he has to go around living as if there is no reality in his world. And he moves towards what I would call Gnosticism. Gnosticism was that belief that the material is bad and the spiritual is good. The hyper-Gnostics were called docetics. They believed that if the material is bad, Jesus couldn't have come in the body, and therefore they believe he came in a phantom body. The flesh is not bad. God made the flesh. Jesus came in the flesh. We'll be raised with the flesh. Paul says the flesh becomes bad in Galatians 5 when it sets its desire against the spirit. It causes a person to be split off. God wants to bring these things together. In the incarnation, we find these things brought together even in the life of Christ. And true spirituality brings these things together in a kind of balance. So I said to this young man, "Are you a sexual person?" He didn't even know how to answer that. He struggled. It's just like asking, do you have brown eyes, blue eyes, or hazel eyes? He finally said, well, yeah, I guess I am. I said, who made you that way? He said, God. I said, yeah, have you ever worshipped him for it? Well, that was totally incongruous to him, that he could worship God for the way he was in this particular area. I said, this is a gift God has given to you. Let's worship him. So we started thanking God for his sexuality. After we prayed and thanked God and made it an act of worship rather than an act of self-denial, in a sense, of inappropriate self-denial, we then started talking about the spiritual disciplines, about virtue, and how to cultivate the spiritual disciplines in a life of faithful following of Christ and sanctification, so that he could manage his life well as he matured, rather than vectoring off and living either in denial of the realities of his life or overindulging these particular things and giving license to them rather than putting bit and bridle in them. One of the best expressions of this in Lewis is in The Great Divorce, where of all these creatures who come up from hell, all of them end up getting back on the bus and go back to hell but one. And the one who gets on into heaven is the guy who comes walking up to an angel with a red lizard on his shoulder. And Lewis says the red lizard was the lizard of lust. And the lizard is riding the man, trying to control the man. And the man is given in to its ways. It's unlicensed, lascivious behavior. And consequently, this man is so destroyed, and the angel says, let me kill it. And he says, oh, no, I know he doesn't fit in here, but I don't want to kill him. It ends up through great struggle that finally the man gives way to the way of God in his life, and he takes the lizard and he throws it on the ground, and this ghost, this shade, this less than fully human man who has given his life to inappropriate expressions of desire, he falls down on the ground too. And then as Lewis describes what he sees the man resurrected up into a real man, a thick man, a man of substance now. But he also sees the lizard transformed. And the lizard is turned into a white stallion, huge, powerful, bigger and stronger than it ever was. And the man now goes to the angel. And he falls on his knees and thanks him. And then he goes over to the horse and he rubs his nose in the nose of the horse, claps it on the neck, and mounts the horse. Now we've got horse and rider right, where it was lizard and man before. And he rides it on into heaven, these two things reconciled in his life. His physical life as well as his spiritual life, into sort of a whole expression of what spirituality is. And Lewis, as he gives us the upside down image through Screwtape, is basically inviting us back into this holistic approach. Screwtape tells Wormwood, we want cattle who can finally become food. But God wants servants who can finally become sons. We want to suck in. He wants to give out. Screw tape will try to make man in his image, or God will remake us in the image of his Son. All choice moves us one way or another, towards the miserific vision or the beatific vision. C.S. Lewis said, you've never met a mere mortal. We live in a world of possible gods and goddesses, or devils and imps. And we are all the while helping people towards one or other of these. And if we're self-referential and utilitarian, we're probably hurting others, and we're also denying our own humanity. But if we become self-aware, we can also then become empathetic towards others and encourage them. So next talk, we'll look at the way we can escape the wiles of the evil one.